Bills Broncos on CBS, a rematch from last postseason, this time at Mile High. With these two teams, it'll never be over. Both ranked top 3 in fourth quarter comebacks this season. Two quarterbacks playing their best football. We got Josh Allen on a historic playoff run, 16 total touchdowns, 0 turnovers in his last 6 postseason starts. Bo Nix has delivered all season long, 7 game-winning drives. The Broncos' first #1 seed since their Super Bowl run. We've got the AFC divisional round Sunday on CBS, and when it comes to Bo Nix, has been one of the most productive young quarterbacks in football. Won 14 games this season, tied for the most ever by a first or second year quarterback. Set the Broncos franchise record with 7 game-winning drives. As I mentioned, he's also been more efficient than most people realize. Let's welcome in our NFL analyst, Charles Davis. The NFC divisional game on CBS. All eyes are going to be on that matchup. Bills and Broncos this postseason has already set an NFL record with 12 fourth quarter lead changes, 4 comeback wins, final 3 minutes. I mean, you have to pay attention from start to finish to all these games. I don't want your pick just yet, but do you expect this one to be a tight race?
I actually do, and I feel like a number of people, and first of all, hello, Jenny, great to see you as always. But I feel like a lot of people feel like Buffalo may have given their last gasp at Jacksonville last week because of the injury situation, right? How things have been going. Josh Allen on the injury report again, this time with 3 different body parts specified as being hurt and trying to play through. Loss of receivers. I could go on, right? But I do know that the reason I picked Buffalo last week in Jacksonville was playoff experience, grittiness, toughness. It permeates through the organization. General manager Brandon Beane, head coach Sean McDermott, the leaders of that football team, they don't do anything quietly in terms, especially when people are counting them out. So I do expect this to be a very tight ball game. And despite the great year Denver has had, Jenny, this is the first time they're going into it where people expect something out of them. Last year was a magic carpet ride. Now at the end of this year, you're the #1 overall seed. People expect to see you in Santa Clara playing for a Super Bowl.
This year's a whole new world, that's for sure. Let's dive deep into their quarterback running the show over there, Bo Nix. Does Bo really know? How much do you trust him?
I trust him maybe more than the average Bear does, but Jenny, I have a little bias with it because I've known the young man since Auburn, all right? Coming out of high school, going to Auburn. Got a chance to see him at some summer camps along the way. I'm not going to sit here and have the Nix family go, who is this guy saying he's friends with Bo Nix? They know me, I know them. But they also know that it's not that we're picking up the phone and talking every day. This is an outsider's view of having watched him play, been around him a little bit, and have some admiration for him. I hosted the event where he won the academic Heisman, the Campbell Trophy, as awarded by the National Football Foundation. I've seen him go from Auburn to Oregon. I've seen him go from Oregon to the NFL. I've called games of his. This young man has some grittiness and toughness to him that I'm not sure people really truly understand, and I've seen it on display. So do I trust him? I absolutely do trust him. I think a lot of people want to see it in the cauldron of the playoffs. I get that. But he's been through other cauldrons along the way, and I've seen him come out the other side quite well.
Yeah, it hasn't been an easy journey for him. He's been, in a few places, had to find success there. Let's talk about the ways that you do trust him, though. He's 11th in the NFL in QB efficiencies. He's taken just 23 sacks all season, tied for the fewest in the league. When you combine that with how Denver protects him, what does that say about his decision-making? I mean, Charles, he's more efficient than I think people give him credit for.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally, Jenny. And here's the thing about that decision-making. It's decision-making that doesn't just apply to what's going on right now at that moment on offense. It applies to his team as a whole. Because when you take sacks, you're often ending drives, which means the ball has to go back to the other team, which means your defense has to work harder and play. When you don't take those sacks, you tend to stay on track, stay on the field longer, give your defense more rest, give your offense more plays to run, and give yourself more chances to score points. I could go on all day, right? You get the idea. His decision-making is always quite good. Goes back to his upbringing. His father was a star quarterback at Auburn and his head coach in high school. And they've always talked about, if you don't take sacks, These are the ways you help your offense. These are the ways you help your team as a whole. That has carried over since he's come under the tutelage of Sean Payton.
All right. I hate talking poorly about people, but I just want to know your opinion on a reason why maybe we can't trust him. You look at some of the numbers, 9th highest off-target rate despite the 11th shortest average depth of targets this season. Charles, is this the kind of matchup that can expose him in a way that isn't great?
Yeah, it certainly can, Jenny, because in the playoffs, everything gets magnified, right? Let's say we're talking NCAA basketball. Does the game not slow down and become more of a half-court game because every possession becomes magnified and becomes much more of a big deal? Less of the wide-open, high-flying, people a little more hesitant to make that play as opposed to in the regular season when you make it. Okay, we'll come on to the next one. NFL football is the exact same way. Everything gets magnified during that time. So let's say he's off target throwing the football. Does that off target mean it goes to the other team? Does it tip off a receiver's hands, turn into a takeaway for Buffalo? Does it just kill drives? All of those things that go into it. And as you mentioned, depth of target. It's like 6.4 yards, right? Which is one of the smaller ones going. The last time we had it like this, Eli Manning was at 6.3 and took the Giants to a Super Bowl. I think that they're going to want to push it downfield a little bit more than maybe they have in the past. Don't be surprised with that. But a lot of that would be dictated by the game. And remember, Sean Payton as a head coach, with that play card he has, you've seen his play sheet, right?
Yeah.
It ought to be advertised by an eatery firm or somewhere, right? Because it's just massive. Well, on that, what he has more than anything, find your playmakers. How do I get the ball to them the best way possible and get my quarterback into a groove? I'll end it with this. So off target against the Jets. 2024 season, somewhere around October, couldn't throw the ball in the rain. Second half, made the adjustment, made the big throws that were necessary in the second half, beat Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. This kid knows how to come back, adapt and improvise, as my great friend Buddy Stevens used to say all the time. Adapt and improvise. He can do it.
That's what we all do, right? Or at least we're trying to do. That's for sure.
Right? We talk. You better than me, but we try.
We'll see how we do next year when we're out on the college football ranks, you and I together. We'll figure it out. A lot of people, though, talking about just the strength of schedule that this team's had, and we kind of talked about just Bo's journey in general to get here. So those folks that are saying, you can't trust him, he's played too easy of the schedule, does that have any legs in your mind?
Not for me. Because just last year, going into the season, people weren't sure about the Broncos, and he, as a rookie, helped them get to a playoff and lose in Buffalo last year. I think back to the 17-0 undefeated Miami Dolphins that crack champagne every year, Jenny, when the last team loses. Go back and check their strength of schedule that year. Are we going to take 17-0 from them? No, we're not. They figured out how to win without their quarterback for most of the year, and Bob Greasy, Earl Morrall came in. Just this year, we had two teams go from 4-13 to 13-4. Jacksonville and New England. I don't care about strength of schedule. I care about results. Denver's got the results. Bo Nix is a big part of them. Yes, things can go awry, but we've seen them go awry for veteran quarterbacks before. I think he's going to show up and be just fine in this game.
All right, that leads me to your pick. Right now, Bo, the Broncos favored at 1.5. Who's winning? What do you think?
Look, what's the old song say? You don't tug on Superman's cape, right? You don't spit into the wind. You don't take the mask off the old Lone Ranger.
This is the second time I've heard spit into the wind today.
Right? You really shouldn't mess around with Josh. That's Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback. You really shouldn't go against him, but I'm actually going to in this one. I just think that what's around him just isn't enough for this game because of Denver's defense. And on every level, Denver's got playmakers galore, guys who can smother you. And without big-time proven wide receivers, although Brandon Cooks could be that guy for them as a veteran, the tight ends will have to be great for Josh Allen. Josh is playing more hurt than I think anyone knows, and he will never say it himself. I just think it's going to be a tight one. Denver's got the home field. I think Nix plays well enough for them, and I think the defense carries them through. Denver in a close one against Buffalo. I wouldn't have predicted it in preseason, Jenny. I had Buffalo winning the whole thing. I just think where we are right now for Buffalo, this is a tough task to go out and do this a second time as they did last week in Jacksonville. Can they? Well, they have number 17 and he wears a cape.
That's true.
But in this case, I'm actually going against him.
All right, Charles, you put it out there. It's going to be appointment television. We appreciate your time, and you can catch it all on CBS this weekend. Bills, Broncos. That's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We got our top crew on it: Jim Dance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. And we're also going to be able to watch the Niners Seahawks. We'll be talking about that game throughout this week as well, this weekend, as that's going to be 8 p.m. on Saturday night.